Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Muhammad Ali Mir and I'm from the Office of Advancement at LUMS. Welcome to our podcast today, in which we will be talking about a new program that we have, which is a joint major program. It is called BSc Economics, Data and Computer Sciences. I'm joined today with Dr. Ihsan Ayyub Qazi, who is an associate professor at the Syed Babar School of Science and Engineering. And we have Dr. Ayesha Ali, who is an assistant professor at the Mushtaq and Gurmani School of Humanities and Social Sciences. We're going to be dividing this podcast into multiple sections. We're going to be starting off with about the program. So what led to the creation of this program, if you would like to answer, Dr. Ihsan?
Sure. So this is a very exciting program, and really the coming together of this program was, essentially the two faculties of the Department of Computer Science and Economics started talking to each other. So there are faculty members who collaborate on research, and they've been talking. So, looking at sort of the emerging trends in computation, data, and economic thinking, the faculties thought it's a very good time to actually consider introducing a new program. The other thing is that we were observing growing demand for professionals who were well-versed in both computational thinking, data science, as well as economic thinking. And I think this program is really one of the programs that aims to bridge that gap which exists and also meet the growing demands of such a program.
Dr. Ayesha, would you like to talk about the balance that this program maintains between the theoretical aspect of economics as well as the technical background of computer sciences?
We've tried to design the program in such a way that students will be undertaking core courses from both areas, from economics and computer science. So on the economic side, they will have the foundational courses in micro, macro, as well as data and econometrics. And our goal really is that we give them the specific sort of domain knowledge regarding economics and sort of broadly social sciences as well, which then they can sort of match together with appropriate tools from data, computational science, and emerging trends like big data, use of AI, generative AI, etc., to answer questions of economic and social relevance, right? Questions where we sort of tend to think of, what policies would be sort of optimal or best for our given goals, both as individuals in an economy-wide way and as well as for societies at large.
Dr. Ihsan, are there any specific core courses which match the synergy between these two programs?
Absolutely, Ali. So in addition to the economics foundations, in the computer science we'll be covering courses that center on computational problem solving, on algorithms and data science. And just to add to what Dr. Ayesha said, this program is very unique in the sense that if you look at the global challenges we face as a humanity, if you look at societal scale problems such as climate change, education, fake news, for instance, socio-economic upward mobility, and all those sort of important questions that need interdisciplinary thinking. So our research also tells us that you need graduates who not only are very well versed with computation data tools, but also have the background in social science, in particular the economic thinking, how incentives work, how humans behave, and how we can sort of come up with interventions that can lead to more desirable behavior for the society as a whole. And so we recognize the fact that we need such graduates that can bring that kind of thinking to solving these really important global scale challenges.
So that does bring us to our second section, which is research and innovation. You did talk a lot about the interdisciplinary approach of this program. Can you tell me about how the interdisciplinary approach works and what benefit does that have for the students at LUMS?
In addition to the sort of core curriculum, which is the foundation of the program, we'll also have bridging courses which will bring together faculty from both disciplines. And one of the bridging courses will be computational social science, where we are going to sort of start with big questions in social science and in economic science, which are of a sort of policy relevance, policy importance, and then see what computational tools, what kinds of data, what kind of sort of computational techniques will help us answer those questions.
And just to add to what Dr. Ayesha said, one of the really interesting things about this program is that this brings together methods from two discipline research methods. So, in computer science, we do a lot of machine learning and data science, and largely, that has to do with prediction problems. In the economic side, they worry a lot about sort of what we call causal questions. And it's the bringing together of these methods as well that really provide a very unique kind of affordances for graduates to solve challenging problems going forward.
How does this program actually affect emerging trends like AI in economics and other computational social sciences as well?
So Ali, one of the things is that both the faculties are very cognizant of the fact that generative AI is really transforming the world in manifest ways. So we have elective courses in which generative AI is being taught, both from an applied perspective and from a more of a systems perspective.
So you are teaching AI in these courses as well?
That's right. The other thing is that even in the more foundational courses like data science and econometrics and such like, you learn about the very foundations that bring together a lot of the innovations that we are seeing around generative AI. The other thing is the implications and impact of generative AI on different verticals, things like future of work, which are really burning questions where economic thinking is really foundational. How would generative AI change labor markets, for instance? Mm-hmm. And that requires a deep understanding of economic frameworks, without which, I think it's very probable to have a very sort of a narrow view of how this might impact the world.
And Dr. Ayesha, would you like to say anything about computational social sciences and how it is an emerging trend and how this program addresses that?
Traditionally in economics and social science broadly, we've been really focused on questions, for example, questions of inequality. What is inequality? How do we measure it? How do we track it, etc. over time? Right. Other questions, for example, we're really thinking about climate change, how that's going to affect societies, and how we need to adapt and cope with it. So all of those kind of social science and socially relevant questions. Now we have new tools, right? Well, economists are no strangers to data, but now we have tools at scale, where we can use big data. We can create, store, process large amounts of data, and we have more advanced machine learning tools as well as generative AI tools, which will enable us to really ask questions of that data in different ways and to use those insights and findings to inform the way we act, right? At the same time, we also hope to teach and impart is the critical thinking, the understanding that, what are the limits of these methods, or what are the limits of technology and emerging trends? What are the pitfalls, right? What are the biases that might be introduced through applying these methods into our decision making, and thus having that more holistic understanding both of the tools, their limitations, and the direction of improvement and advancement that we can take them in. I think that is really unique. And that's something which, going forward, Dr. Ihsan talked about how the future of work is changing, right? So those are the kind of skills that people would need to be able to work in any rapidly changing environment, be it industry, be it, let's say, even academia or research or government or, the development sector, etc.
Can you tell me about the career prospects of graduates of these programs?
So industry, I think, is definitely, and as Dr. Ihsan also mentioned at the start of the podcast, there has been growing demand from industry and from all segments of industry. Data is being used widely, ubiquitously everywhere. Even small firms are able to now gather data. So it's not just, we're not talking about, big firms having the capacity to gather data and to use it effectively. So industry is a big opportunity for these graduates, as well as I would, I work in the development sector. A lot of my research is on developing economies. I see development agencies, international agencies like the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and all of these development agencies are now increasingly requiring use of data for their work, right? So there's a growing demand in the development sector, and we talked a bit about research and academia. So certainly, intellectually, the two disciplines have come together, and faculty researchers are working at the cross section of both disciplines.
So, Dr. Ayesha, you explained a lot about in the industrial prospects. Dr. Ihsan, can you tell me more about the academia side of this program?
Surely. So one of the ways to think about this is the skills and competencies the graduates would have once they undertake this program. and the other is the sort of the foundational frameworks they will become acquainted with. So the graduates of this program will be very well acquainted with data science, how to leverage computation tools to solve different kinds of problems, as well as they will have that kind of framework to be able to understand how humans reason, how incentives work, and such like. So for academic purposes, such kind of training is really invaluable because it provides you with that sort of confidence, which is due to background and experience, to actually undertake very interesting and important research problems. Okay. So I think that affordance is definitely there. And just to add to what Dr. Ayesha said, in the industry, what we are observing is, if you look at, for instance, technology companies, they're increasingly demanding people who have not just data science skills, but also they understand how economic thinking works. They also are appreciative of methods from social sciences, like things like randomized control trials, for instance. And so these things are very valuable in industry. So for instance, if you look at Amazon and the Googles and the Microsofts, they really like to hire people who have sort of, are well-versed both in research methods in computer science as well as in economics. So I think that also really is very interesting part of this program.
Do your departments help these students out with internships as well?
So there are various ways in which students can actually get experience with internships. So one is that the faculty members in each of these departments, they generally have research internships they offer throughout the year. And so students who are enrolled in this program can actually reach out to one or more faculty members to get internship experience. The other thing is the Career Services Office at LUMS also holds these career fairs where companies come in and students can actually get internship via that route as well.
Well, we do have a 95% placement rate after graduation, which means that most of the students, if not all, they do receive a job within the first 6 months of their graduation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And if you would like to be a part of the BSc Economics, Data and Computer Sciences program, and if you want to join LUMS, then you have to enroll by creating your application on our website. So I'm going to take you step by step on what you need to do. First of all, you need to create an application on our website by accessing the website and clicking Apply Now. That will direct you towards our portal, and then you can create your application. Once you do create your application, you will need to submit a couple of documents along with some details as well about yourself. For your admission test, you need to have either the SAT, ACT, or the LCAT exam. When we talk about your academic record, we need to have at least an average of 8 Bs for your O-levels and an average of 2 Bs and a C for your A-levels. When we talk about metric and FSC, for your metric, you need to have at least 70%. And again, for your FSC, we need to have at least 70% again. Only for your FA exam, you need to have 65%. And if you're a student of IBDP, for your first year, you need to have a score of 28 out of 45. Once you have submitted all of these and you meet our criteria, our minimum eligibility, then you can move on towards creating and submitting your application. We're moving on towards our next section, which is faculty and how they support our students in these programs. So how do we leverage the expertise of our faculty members from both of these departments and put it into the program?
One really interesting aspect of this program is that these courses, which form the core of this program, will be taught by both the computer science and the economics faculty. And also we have bridge courses like that Dr. Ayesha mentioned. We're introducing a new course on computational social science, which would be co-taught by faculties from both the departments.
Both of the departments. So it's basically a synergy between these two courses.
Exactly. And I think that really opens up so many avenues of cross-pollination across these different departments and also shapes thinking of students. Mm-hmm. Because now they can actually engage in problems that intersect both disciplines more broadly put. And I think that is very valuable in undergraduate programs.
Well, Dr. Ayesha, would you like to talk about how the facilities will also be shared between these two departments? We have computer science and economics. What sort of unique facilities will we have for these students?
So Dr. Ihsan already talked about the synergies across with respect to faculty. I just add one more thing. There's always the opportunity to sort of engage in directed research work as well as sort of research within courses, for your term projects, as well as the option to undertake a senior year research project. In terms of facilities, we in the economics department we have our data center, which is housed to several large data sets covering many aspects of Pakistan's economy, which are available for students to use to work with on their research. We also have, not part of a department, but managed by our faculty as well, the Mahbub Haq Research Center, which is, I think, an excellent avenue for research dissemination. So they have a blog series where even students can sort of write about their research and showcase their research. So those are the avenues which would be available to students in this program to showcase the work that they are able to do while they're enrolled in the program.
And on the computer science side, in the School of Science and Engineering, we have a lot of computational resources. For instance, we have the high performance computing cluster that actually hosts large-scale compute resources, including GPUs, which the students can access for running their large-scale workloads. In addition, I also would like to point out that at LUMS we have many interdisciplinary centers like the Water Center, the Energy Center, and TPI Center, and so on. And these centers are sort of these points of confluence where interdisciplinary thinking really thrives. And so the students, graduates of these programs can actually benefit from a lot of these centers by bringing their own perspectives and knowledge, as well as learning from these centers as well.
What sort of future do you envision for this program, and where do you want to see it go?
So one of the things we foresee is that with the advent of generative AI, we are expecting large shifts in labor markets, in the way industries work and such like. And our wish is really, we foresee the graduates of this program to be the leaders who will bring about those changes. And like Dr. Ayesha mentioned very rightly, in a manner which is ethical, in a manner which is grounded in, in the understanding and the background that this has to benefit the society as a whole. Our hope with the graduates of this program is that they would really spearhead and lead those changes with the confidence that they have, the background in data, computational thinking, economic thinking, and ethical thinking to actually bring about those changes.
And Dr. Ayesha, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think our hope is that we're able to train a new generation of thinkers, leaders, as well as those who can continuously learn, because the future will require all of us to sort of unlearn and relearn, for these new generation of leaders to be able to sort of tackle the kind of long-standing challenges in our national economy, but also globally. So in our national economy, challenges like development, poverty, inequality, emerging challenges like around climate change. So I think this is our hope that by using the skills that our program hopes to impart, a new generation of leaders and learners is able to take forward and tackle these challenges.
Well, I would like to tell everyone that this is not a new program as per se. This program is basically the culmination of these two departments and how they will be working together to help out the students who want to take these programs. So, Dr. Ayesha, the final question I have for today, I'm going to be directing this towards both of you. What sort of advice do you have for these students if they're hesitant to join this program?
I think that they only need to declare the major at the end of the first year. So, if they're unsure, they could start off by taking courses which the program requires, and then take it from there and see. They should not sort of feel fearful. And as you rightly said, both programs, economics and computer science, have been there for a long time. So I think some students will be more quantitatively inclined and will find that this is a great fit. Others may realize that their sort of interest lies elsewhere, and that's perfectly fine. And that's part of the undergraduate journey as well at LUMS.
Exactly.
So just adding to what Dr. Ayesha said, I think it's important to carefully reflect on the kind of majors that you would like to take. And I would also suggest that it's very important to talk to lots of people to get a sense of what this program and in general other programs will enable them to achieve once they undertake those majors. So my suggestion would be talking to lots of people and getting a sense of what value would they get, what skills and competencies they're going to learn once they graduate from this program, and based on that they can always decide. One flexibility that LUMS provides is that you're not sort of boxed into it from the get-go. You can explore, take a few courses, and then see that if you like this stream enough, program enough, then you can continue, or you can also think about other majors as we go.
Well, this does conclude our podcast, but I will be telling you about the entire deadline and timelines as well for the applications for fall 2025. So for fall 2025, the applications are live right now. You can go to our website, you can apply online as well. And once you have created your application and submitted it, the submission date, and I'm going to tell you again, is the 4th of February. The final date to submit all of your application documents is the 6th of February actually. And moving on, you have to give the LCAT if you would like to give the LCAT. It is tentatively set to be on the 23rd of February. And the final date to submit the SAT results is to take the SAT is the 8th of March. Thank you so much everyone for joining us. And thank you so much for everyone for watching. Allah Hafiz ji.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.